In this video, I'm going to introduce you to variables. So start by putting a button, and let's assign that button to a macro. What this is going to do is define variables as instructed. In order to define a variable, we're going to use dim, capital D, lowercase I, M, and this simply determines or sets the data type for the variable. Now we're going to do a variable name. It can be X, Y, and so on. So let's do claps. So the number of times a person claps their hands. And since we want it to be a number, we're going to do an integer. So now we're going to set the data type, and that's going to be as, and then integer. Because we're setting claps as an integer, and an integer is a whole number. So claps, we're going to say equals 6, and we're going to display that in our cells. So range, and we're going to say A1, and the value of that is going to be claps. Now when we click the button, 6 appears because this cell's value is the claps, and we said that the claps were 6. Let's change the number of claps to be 10. When we run this or click the button again, you can see that the value in A1 changes to 10, and so on. If I wanted to define multiple variables, I can do another dim. So I can say dim, now we'll do stomps, and we're going to define that as an integer, and we're going to say that stomps is equal to 5. And we're going to want to display that stomps, so we're going to say that A2 is going to be equal to the number of stomps, which in our case we said 5. This is one way to do this code. However, since both claps and stomps are integers, we can simply define them together. So claps, comma, stomps. When we run this, we're going to expect to see claps followed by stomps directly underneath. Looking at the workbook, we see 10 followed by a 5. Variables can be more than just integers. They can also be decimals or doubles, strings, and Boolean. Boolean values are simply true or false, and we'll go into that in later videos. But for now, let's practice doing a string. So now we're going to define that hands is going to be a string. So we're going to say hands is going to be assigned to hands coming together. That is the string that I want displayed when I type hands. And remember, this hands is a variable. So directly below the number for claps and the number for stomps, I'm going to have the value be hands. So this is going to display a string as opposed to integers like the others were defined. When I click the button, you're going to see 10, 5, and then the string hands coming together. Now let's get rid of hands, and let's say that I wanted a message box also displayed. And in that message box, I want to display the number of claps. So I simply write the number of claps equals close the quotation, so this is going to display the string, and, so ampersand, and claps, which again, claps is assigned as a variable, so that's going to display the number 10. So when I run this code, the number of claps equals 10. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And let's try changing claps from 10 to 15. Running this again, the number of claps equals 15, and you can see A1 also changed to 15 because we have A1 still set as claps. So let's just display the message box now and just focus on claps. So let's say the number of hands coming together equals the amount of claps. But let's say claps was able to be a decimal, so 15.5. We're going to change this to be a double, since a double can be written as a decimal. So claps, 15.5, the number of hands coming together is 15.5. And this is just a quick introduction to defining a variable.